Listen, I know that every trading video on YouTube promises the same thing. If you just watch this one, become profitable. That's what they all say. And unfortunately, it takes longer than one video, so that's not what I'm trying to claim here. But I'm almost certain that what I'm about to share with you is something that you have not thought about before. Okay? And it will help you tremendously in becoming profitable because you have probably gone about it the wrong way. Almost sure. Okay. So please just commit to giving me just 5 minutes of your time to help you out and change your perspective. Okay. Because most people, they come to trading because they want something, right? I've written become the weapon here, becoming the weapon. I'll explain what that means in a second. Right? Most people come to trading because they want something. They want money, they want freedom, they want a way out, right? I did that too 7 years ago. That's exactly why I started. But here's what I wish someone had told me back then. That's not a good reason. And it is the reason most people fail. Okay? The ones who actually make it this game, they're not chasing a number, right? So chasing a number is wrong. We don't want to do that, okay? They're trying instead to become something. I want to chase a number. We want to become something. What we want to become is a weapon, okay? And once you understand that difference, everything changes, okay? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that difference actually looks like, why chasing the goal keeps you broke, and why people who stop caring about the money are the ones who end up making it, okay? And what it actually means to become, as I said, what I call the weapon. Someone who can never really be taken out of the game. If you're thinking about trading seriously or you're already in it, wondering why it's so hard, might be the most important thing you hear, okay? So stay with me. So let's start with where everyone starts. You find trading, right? How? Most people find it through YouTube, maybe a friend who's already doing it. Maybe you just stumble into it and immediately you start doing the math in your head. If I can just do 10% a month, right? If I can just get to 6 figures, and then maybe I can double those 6 figures, then I have 200,000. I can replace my salary and I quit my job and be free, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that those things are not possible. They are. I've seen it happen, okay? I've lived it myself. But the problem is when it's the goal that is driving you, that poisons everything, right? It's poison. You don't want to do that, okay? Think about what happens psychologically when you're trading towards just a number, okay? You're down on the month. You've got a week left. What do? Most people will start forcing trades, right? Because you've set this arbitrary goal and this arbitrary timeline. So now you have to reach that goal. So you have to double down maybe, right? Start seeing setups that aren't really there because you just need something to work to hit that goal. Maybe you're out big on a position, but it hasn't quite hit your target yet. So you hold too long, you give back the gains because the goal was always the number and not the quality of the trade, okay? So maybe now you're 3 months in and you're not where you want to be. So you start over leveraging, right? You start taking bigger risks because you're behind schedule. This is why most people blow up. It's not because they can't read a chart. As a beginner, that seems like the most impossible thing, learning a strategy and reading a chart. That's the easy thing. Like the technical stuff, that is the easy stuff. Okay? So it's not because they don't understand the market, because their psychology is pointed towards the wrong thing from the start. Okay. The goal creates desperation when the goal is a number. And desperation creates bad decisions, and bad decisions, they create losses. And losses make you more desperate, right? It only takes, think about it like this. If you have one day of desperation, that's always going to beat 6 months of discipline. You can be disciplined for, I'm not going to write the whole thing. You can be disciplined for so long and just one bad day is going to wipe everything away, okay? So it's a trap and almost everybody falls into it, okay? So the alternative, let me present you with the alternative. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this is where I actually got the idea for this video. They were talking about this concept that stuck with me. It was the idea of, again, becoming the weapon, right? And it was a podcast talking about a podcast with Joe Rogan, okay? So the question they posed on the Joe Rogan podcast, if someone took away everything from him tomorrow, right? His house, his car, they took everything away, would he be able to get it back, right? And the answer was obviously yes, right? Because he's competent. He is the black belt martial artist. He is the podcaster who knows how to interview really well. He is the world-class UFC commentator. So he has the skills. He's a weapon. You could take everything away from him and he would still be Joe doing the work. And right away, he would get his house back and he would get his cars. Okay. And most people, I think, couldn't do that. Not because they're not smart, not because they're not hardworking, but because they're not actually skilled. They are what I call situated. Situated, okay? They have a job that pays well because they happen to get hired at the right time, at the right company. They maybe have savings because the market happened to go up while they were invested. Maybe they bought a house and the housing market exploded. This is especially true for the boomer generation, if you think about it. They literally own half of the world's assets, and most of them, they can't even open Facebook without getting scammed by an AI ad, right? Talk about being situated. Anyways, for a lot of people, their success is what I'm trying to say. Their success is just not transferable. Transferable, okay? Success is not transferable. A lot of it is not real in any real sense. But trading is so different because if you actually get good at it, everything changes. Because when you truly understand how markets work, and not just patterns on a chart, but the actual mechanics of how price moves, who's in control, when they're in control, where value is lying, how auctions resolve, you carry something that just can't be taken away, right? You don't need permission. You don't need a network. You don't need someone to hire you. You don't need a bull market. A lot of people are invested into the market, but they need the market to go up to make money, right? You only need a screen, right? A screen. You need maybe some capital, or a prop firm as we have nowadays. And then you need the skill, right? And you need the skill to read what is actually happening in front of you, okay? And that's what I mean by becoming the weapon. You stop chasing a number and you start building the capability that no one can take away from you. Just like Joe Rogan, as I mentioned before, right? You have the capability to always make money. Right? Doesn't have to get lucky. And the twist that nobody talks about, when you orient your thinking this way, you're actually more likely to hit your financial goals and not less, because you're patient. You're not forcing trades to meet an arbitrary timeline. You're focused on the process. You're focused on getting better, on making quality decisions, not on whether this particular trade gets you closer to, again, an arbitrary number. The goal literally takes care of itself when you're aimed at the right thing, okay? So if the goal is to become the weapon, to build a skill that no one can take away from you, what does this actually require? Because of course it's not free, right? Nothing is free. There is a price, and most people aren't willing to pay it, which is fine, right? You just have to make up your mind if you're willing to pay it. You should know what you're signing up for, okay? So the first cost, we write it down. The first cost is time, okay? That's the first cost. Not weeks, it's not months. It's, for most people, it's going to be years, right? You just have to get the repetitions in. Can't get that in a few weeks, okay? So real proficiency in markets, actually understanding why price moves and not just regular patterns. As I said before, it takes longer than people want to hear. You're not going to watch a course and be profitable in 30 days. I'm sorry, that's just not how skill acquisition works in any field, right? Trading is no different. Imagine like some guy, young guy in med school, right? Thinking that in 30 days, he's gonna make 7 figures from doing neurosurgery, right? Doesn't work that way. He has to do years and years and years and years of training, okay? Trading is the same thing. The people selling you shortcuts, they're just selling you hope, okay? They're not selling you capability, okay? The second cost is ego, all right? To get good at this, you have to be wrong a lot, right? And publicly even sometimes, right? If you trade publicly like I do, you just have to sit with that. You have to review your losses honestly instead of making excuses. You have to admit when you didn't know what you thought you knew. All right, you have to let the market humble you over and over and over again until the lessons that is trying to teach you actually stick. Trading is this is really interesting. I thought about this the other day. Trading is one of the few fields where you actually have to face the consequences when you stick your neck out. That's extremely rare nowadays. Think about it for a second, right? People will say anything online these days, share opinions on everything and anything they don't know anything about. But there's never any consequence when they stick their neck out with an opinion, right? Same goes with politicians. You can just be wrong today and it doesn't matter. Trading is so different, right? Every time you stick your neck out and say, I think this is going to happen, I'm going to put my money on this, and I might even share the idea publicly, you're the one who will be facing the consequences. And most people can't do this. Their ego protects themselves from the feedback they need to improve, right? So they stay mediocre forever, blaming the market, blaming manipulation, blaming anything except the person, right? That they are themselves in the mirror. And the weapon requires you to confront yourself. And that's uncomfortable in ways that are really hard to describe unless you try to live it, okay? The third cost is certainty. Okay. Certainty. Did I spell it right? Yes. So you have to give up the idea that you'll ever figure it out completely. Okay, that's a myth. Contrary to what all the ICT sheep traders, they want you to believe, the market is not a puzzle that can be solved. It's not. There's no arrival point, no moment where you've mastered it and can just relax. Okay, markets, they evolve over time, and because markets evolve over time, you have to evolve, because that means that your edge will decay eventually. What worked last year might not work next year. Okay, so you're never done learning. You are a perpetual student to the market. All right. For people who want stability and predictability, this is absolute hell, okay? And for people who can embrace permanent uncertainty as the baseline, it becomes kind of freeing, right? You have to choose it consciously. So that's the price. It's time, it's ego, and it's certainty. And not everyone should pay it. Not everyone wants to, and that's a legitimate choice. It's just a choice that you have to make. But the big question now is actually who makes it in trading? After 7 years, who have I seen pass the test of time? It's not necessarily the smartest people, right? It's not necessarily the one with the most capital. And it's definitely not the most aggressive, right? It's none of them. It's the ones who understand that trading is a skill that needs to be developed. Okay, and it's not a lottery one. So they build structure around the chaos. That means routines, rules, systems that keep their nervous system regulated when the market is crazy and keeps them from burning out. They know that the worst decisions come when you're dysregulated, right? Do everything to stay unstressed and whatever. They understand why price moves. I mentioned this before. So important. Not just patterns on a chart, okay? Not just indicators firing on all cylinders, but the actual mechanics, auction market theory, where value is, who's in control, what behavior to expect. Because when you have a real framework, you're not just guessing, right? You're reading, and without fail, honestly, like I can't think of any trader I've seen who strictly focuses on patterns or like mechanical setups who make it long term. Eventually, it will fail. You have a candlestick pattern that's an edge. Even though it might be an edge for a while, there's a really good chance that they will stop working eventually. It's just a candlestick pattern. That's not a real edge in my opinion. Okay. So the ones who make it, they orient toward the skill and not the outcome. They wake up every day trying to become better traders when it's so important. You wake up, and you think about becoming a better trader, okay? But the capability is the goal. They're building the weapon one day at a time. The ones who legitimately focus on doing the right thing and not on making money. This is so important, guys. They are the ones succeeding, right? If you just try to make money, eventually you'll do the wrong thing out of desperation. But if you only focus on doing the right thing, the money is going to be a natural byproduct, right? So if you focus on money, this is so important. At some point, you will do the wrong thing. It might be 6 months into the future, but it will happen eventually, right? If your focus, I can't spell for shit. If your focus is doing the right thing, eventually money is a byproduct, okay? This is like the best tip I can give any new trader. It's just really every day focus on doing the right thing. Focusing on your setup and not on making money. If you do that for long enough, you will be money. If you do it the other way around, it's a matter of time before you blow up because you get desperate, okay? So if you're thinking about going deeper into trading, making it a serious part of your life, maybe even going full time, I'm not going to tell you whether you should or shouldn't. That's entirely your decision, and it depends on things only you know about. I will tell you this, though. If you come here chasing a number, you will probably lose eventually, okay? The desperation will get to you. Impatience will get to you. The market will take your money, and you'll probably learn nothing along. You come here to become a trader, to become a weapon, to build a skill that no one could take away from you, right? To become the Joe Rogan of trading, if you want to put it that way, right? Just to loop back to what I started with. You want to become a person that is dangerous in any market environment, then you actually have a real shot, okay? Because the goal takes care of itself when you're oriented right. If you're still in after hearing all that, if something in this video resonated with you, I have a free Discord community link below. I also have my whole system and framework for how I read the market, how I trade the market as a free download. There's no pitch, no nothing, just the actual playbook and framework that I use, okay? So if you found this valuable, I'd appreciate it. If you want to like and subscribe, this channel is brand new. I'm trying to grow this channel with content that actually matters in the trading game and cut out some of the noise. So I hope that you enjoyed this one. And if so, I'll see you in the next one.